Hello and welcome, children. Today we'll be doing the fourth poem of your book, that is Beehive, and the name of the poem is uh, A Legend of Northland. So, from the name, we can identify that which place the legend is going to talk about. So, Northland, as you know, Northland is the we can say it's the story about Northland. So, Northland is the North Pole. Okay, and let's check some more information that these which are the two poles of Earth. I hope that you know that is that is North Pole and South Pole. So these North Pole and South Pole will be talked about in the poem. And the next, I would like to know from you that what are the countries which are there in the North Pole. So basically, it's Finland, Netherlands, and Denmark, etc. Countries, they comprise the Northland. So this story is the poem is going to deal with the story. Legend means a story associated with any place, like any story which is associated with your place, so that will be a legend for your place. In the similar manner, this legend is associated with Northland. And the poem, first we should know that what the poem is, the format in which the form in which the poem is written. So the poem is written in the form of ballad. So ballad is the type of poem in which a story is narrated. Though it's a poem, but a story will be narrated. And earlier the ballads were also dramatized in the theaters. So this poem is one of the popular ballad of that time, and it is going to also tell us about the culture of the place. The first the first stanza goes like this: away, away in Northland, where the hours of the where the hours of the day are few. The nights are so long in winter, they cannot sleep them through. So the first stanza, as I told you, that ballad will have total 16 stanzas, and they will be the small stanzas. So you can see the first stanza only comprises of 4 lines. So it says that away in the Northland, the hours of the day are few and the night are so long in winter. So it's the winter season is being talked about in the poem. And in the winter season, basically what happens, the days are shorter in comparison to the night, and the nights are longer. So here it has been said that it is so cold that it is very difficult for people to spend the night, because maybe the daytime is only for 10 hours and the night time is maybe for 14 hours. So they are not sleeping for all 14 hours because of the excessive cold, and that's why it's written that they cannot sleep them through. And let's see that this is the one of the map. You can check this map, will tell you about the map. You can see, so this map is going to tell us that what is Northland. So this particular area is Northland, which is always covered with snow. So that will be talked about in the poem, and this area is talked about. So the children, they wear such woolen cloths, so in that they look fun. Why are the days shorter than night? You know this. So now we are on the second stanza, children. The second stanza says that where they harness the swift reindeer, the sledge, when it snows, the children look like bear cubs, their funny furry cloths. So in the second stanza, it is been told about the reindeer, that reindeers are used with the help with the sledge, and the people. They travel from one place to another in the sledge. Let's have some pictures of sledge. You can check over here. This is a picture. This is a picture of sledge, and which is being driven by reindeer. And in the old days there were no such vehicles available, so people use this sledge with the reindeer. So, and these are the dresses, some dresses which make children look funny. So he's saying that the furry cloths are making the children look funny. The third stanza, it says that they tell them a curious story. I don't believe it's true, and yet you may learn a lesson if I tell the tale to you. So he is saying that I know a crazy kind of story about the Northland, and I'm sure that it is not true. But why I am going to discuss? Poet is saying that why he is going to discuss the poem with us, because he says that there is a moral, there is a lesson in it. The story is going to teach us a moral. So that's why he says that we will be going through this poem. Okay, so let's see. So that's why, as I told you, that legend is the story associated, and that can be the authenticity of the story is not 100%, because we'll find some magic in it, some supernatural power associated in the story, and that cannot be true, we know. So that's why these stories are not associated with the truth. So the poet has already told us that it's not that it is a true story, but why we are going to read the story? Because it is going to teach us a moral lesson. So this is the fourth stanza, children. So in the fourth stanza we find that the story, what he says, that once when the good Saint Peter, so the story is associated with Saint Peter when he lived in the world below, means when Saint Peter was alive. So this story is about Saint Peter. I hope that you know that what are saints. Saints are the disciple of Jesus Christ, and mostly it is been said that saints are associated with some magic, some kind of supernatural power. So he's having some kind of supernatural power. So when Saint Peter was alive, and he was walking about it preaching, and he was preaching throughout the world, he was traveling and he was preaching. So this he did, so he says that this has happened when Saint Peter was alive, and Saint Peter asked something from someone. Let's see that what he asked from and whom he asked. That is important, and what he asked for, and then what kind of lesson that person is going to get. So this is just a picture, a sketch of any saint, and maybe the story is associated with words. So let's see. So the fifth stanza, it tells us that he says that he came to the door of a cottage traveling round the earth. So Saint Peter was traveling, and now he is at Northland, and he has come to a cottage, near a cottage dwelling round the earth. And in traveling round the earth, where a little woman was making cakes and baking them on the hearth. And the lady, what she was doing, she was making cakes and she was baking them on oven. So of course it is Christmas time, so people get busy with making cakes. So the lady was making cakes. So let's see that what kind of cake she is going to make, and why Saint Peter is there with her. So this is the description, children, up to stanza 5. I hope that you understood. In the next video we'll be discussing the next stanza. Thank you, children.